Once upon a time, there were two pizza girls named Kitty and Candy, and they had a special delivery to make to a strange young man named Cal, who wore a silent dog whistle around his neck. Cal's best friend was a man named Loud Robert, and Loud Robert said that he wanted some pizza too.
Oh. Firewater. Hi. Yes, it is story time, but I think we're reading the wrong story. Let me see this. Oh my. Well, this is a good one, and maybe we can get back to it, but it is Christmas and... Oh, hold on. Welcome to the Manor and our annual Christmas special. As you can tell, this one's going to be a doozy. But the story is not necessarily the one that Firewater was just reading to you. So, maybe I'm going to have to ask you to read, well, this is a Christmas classic we all know and love, right? Here, read this story, okay?
Marley was dead to begin with. There is no doubt whatever of that. But enough about Marley. It was Christmas Eve, but Mr. Scrooge's store was still open and Bob Cratchit had to work all the same. And since it was a cold Christmas Eve, Bob Cratchit thought he would fire up the fireplace.
Oh, man, I'm gonna make a fire. Yeah, that's what I'll do. Starting to feel like Christmas.
What are we doing here?
What? Starting a fire.
You know how much that cost me in fuel for that fire?
What, are you kidding me? It's Christmas, Mr. Scrooge.
Christmas. Humbug.
Humbug? What?
I want you to go down, and I want you to...
What? Put out the fire?
Yes.
You're kidding me. It's Christmas.
Bah, humbug.
Well, hey. Seeing that we're not going to have a fire for Christmas, is it okay if I go home a half hour early to spend Christmas at home?
Go home?
Yeah, it's Christmas.
I have a pile of work to do. You're not done.
Mr.
Humbug.
Scrooge.
Christmas time. Be gone with you.
Humbug,
Take your Merry Christmas with you, and don't show...
Merry Christmas to you, Mr. Scrooge.
Marley,
Yes,
you're dead.
I was dead. But I came back for you, pitiful man.
Me?
Yes.
I'm the richest man in town. I'm not pitiful.
I don't
I'm
care
rich.
about that. Listen to me. Be quiet. Listen. Tonight, you will be visited by 3 spirits. 3 spirits!
3?
Yes! Yeah, 3!
3?
Yes! So you listen to them and shut your mouth. And then we'll see how you feel about Christmas! Do you understand?
Yeah.
Do you
Don't hurt me.
understand?
Don't hurt me, Marley.
I will be back and we will see what happens to you. But listen and learn. And by the way, I ran this place much better than what you're doing. Huh.
And yes, we're going to see more of what happens to our Mr. Scrooge and the ghosts momentarily. But this being the Manor of Mayhem Christmas special, we've also got a very special movie for you.
Let me get the lights.
Well, this is it, the Country Girl Pizza Parlor.
It's really very nice.
Thank you. You got any work experience?
Oh, I was cashier at the church bake sale last summer.
Church bake sale. Well, why don't you have a seat and I will get us an application.
Wrong movie. Wrong movie. Where did you find that?
In the vaults.
In the vaults. Well, that's a new one on me. I think before we get pilloried by the FCC and 100 feds, I think we better cut to our correct Christmas movie.
evening, Uncle Dan.
Fred?
I wonder if we could talk for a moment.
Well, I was planning to get to bed early tonight.
This won't take long.
Coffee? I'll have Charles bring another cup.
No, thanks.
Well, now, nephew, which one of your many causes brings you out into the snowy night, huh? Some Ubangis with the yaws? Some perverted mass murderer who's seen the light and wishes to assume his rightful place in society? As an alternative to the electric chair? No, that was last year, wasn't it? Well, what is it this time? A movement to donate the Mississippi River to the Sahara Desert?
You can do better than that.
Not on a full stomach, I can't. Not before coffee.
I'm here about one of your causes. What about Jack Harris?
Harris? Jack Harris? I don't know the fellow.
Professor John Harris? You know him.
Look, Fred, we usually wind up our little discussions yelling at each other. Now let's get a quiet start this time, all right?
Jack just called me. The University Board of Trustees canceled his credentials for the cultural exchange program.
Ah, yes, that Harris. Yes, I heard that decision.
It was your decision.
You just said it was the trustees. I'm not even on the board.
The words were theirs, but the voice belonged to a high-powered ventriloquist named Daniel Grudge. You sit here at that desk, throw your voice through a telephone, everybody jumps. Bankers, politicians, newspapers, universities.
Coffee is cold. Now, why should a little thing like this sit so heavily in your tender tummy, Fred?
Little thing? Uncle Dan, you know what this project has meant to all of us on the faculty, to the whole university. Everything from the raising of our own pedagogical standards to international recognition to... We've worked on it for an entire year. It's been cleared by Washington, cleared by the other end, and now you come along to dump it all. Why? Why should you object if one of our professors spends a year studying and teaching abroad?
Yes, abroad. Poland, wasn't it? Your Professor Harris was to spend a year in Poland at the University of Krakow, was it not?
Stop asking me questions you know the answer to.
You care for a drink?
No, thanks.
And in exchange for our Professor Harris, the University of Krakow in Poland would send to our university one of their boys, whose name, even if I knew what it was, is probably unpronounceable.
Korzeniowski. It's really quite easily pronounced.
And that's what's known these days as a cultural exchange. You know, Fred, for a fairly talented professor of history, you seem to be a little naive as to the current political climate of the native country of this professor, whatever his name is.
Are you serious?
Stop asking me questions you know the answers to, nephew.
Do you know what he teaches? Do you know what Korzeniowski and Harris both teach? 18th century European literature. What's that got to do with politics?
I don't know, and I'm not interested in finding out. Get smart, boy. We've been digging his kind out of the woodwork for years. You don't really expect me to be a party to inviting one of them in here now, do you? No. Now, he stays on his side of the fence and Harris stays on ours. Get used to the idea.
When you finally go, that'll be your epitaph, won't it? Here lies Daniel Grudge on his side of the fence. Well, get used to this idea, Uncle. There are certain fences the world can no longer afford.
Quite a wall through Berlin, I've heard, Al.
Exactly. A fence. And who put it there? You think it's right?
All right, Fred. Turn it off. Right now. There's only one side I'm on. First, last, and always. Our side. Don't you ever forget that. And spread it around. I want all the members of your various domestic and international orders of the Bleeding Heart to know precisely where Daniel Grudge stands. Because anytime you and or one of your fuzzy fellow do-gooders tries to get me, or friends of mine, or my city, state, or my country involved in any of your so-called causes, then I intend to be there every time with a body block that'll throw all of you flat on your involved butts. Now get out.
Merry Christmas, by the way.
Yes, so it is. And tonight, especially tonight, I am in no mood for the brotherhood of man. You mind? I've heard that speech. And heard it. Oh, I've had it with you, Fred. With all of you, I've had it. Right up to here. Mind your own business. And let everybody else mind theirs. Your responsibility happens to be your classroom. Not classrooms in Krakow, Poland, Butte, Montana, or Johannesburg, South Africa. Do you insist upon making it a better world? Won't you die happy until you do? Do you insist upon helping the needy and oppressed? Is that some kind of an itch that you can't stop scratching? Then tell them to help themselves. Let them know the cash drawer is closed and make them believe it. You'll be surprised how much less needy and oppressed the needy and oppressed turn out to be. But you've heard that one before. And heard it. No, I can't change you, and you can't change me. So just stay out of my way, Fred. Out of my house, and out of my life.
Uncle Dan. Uncle Dan, this is Christmas Eve. A very special night apart from everything else. For you and for me. All my life we've disagreed about most things, you and I. But there's one thing we both had in common. Someone we cared the world about. Your son. My cousin Marley. May I have that drink now?
Solitary thing on this earth that I cared anything at all for. And to what end? So that his life could be snuffed out? His fine young body turned into a bundle of bleeding garbage? In return for which I'm sent his dog tags, some medals, and a 12-word telegram. Something for something. I give them a son. And they give me back his effects. And that, I submit to you, is a lousy bargain.
Nobody could argue that. The point is, that kind of bargaining has got to stop.
Oh. And who's going to stop it? Armies of professional plea coppers, like you? Your kind mouth the platitudes that get us into war. His kind go off to fight them. You might raise that point with one of your debating societies. The point that every 2 decades we seem to pay for your indiscriminate affections with the lives of our sons.
Those indiscriminate affections, as you put it, is simply the acknowledgement that all men have sons. That grief for the unnecessary dead is not exclusive to this country, this town, or to the House of Grudge.
Mine is exclusive. It concerns me.
Forgive me, Uncle Dan. But I feel you mourn the death of Marley less than you mourn your personal loss of him. You keep his room like a shrine. You set a place for him at dinner each Christmas Eve because he died on Christmas Eve. Those things are for you, not for him.
Who cares who they're for? I'm the one who feels the pain.
And you'll go on feeling it, nursing it even, until you realize the true tragedy, the tragic insanity of Marley's death. Not that your son was killed by another man's son, but that mankind still allows such dying to happen.
It wasn't his war.
No war is anybody's war.
I'm not talking about anybody. How do we stay out? By getting ourselves involved with the same people, the same problems, the same places? None of them our business? Is that your answer? Involvement? A hophead's pipe dream in which everybody, yellow, black, and white, gets thrown into one pot? And out comes a stew called world brotherhood, in which mankind lives forever in peace and putrefaction. Is that your answer?
Oh, not even close. It's the way you keep putting it. Maybe for some very private reason you have to keep telling it to yourself that way. At any rate, as you said, I sure couldn't change you. Thanks for the drink.
And I have a Christmas present for you, Fred. Call it a contribution, if you like, to all your causes, involvements, exchanges, cultural and otherwise, whatever terms you apply at international freeloading on our pocketbook. If you have this overpowering concern for everybody everywhere in the world, here's your answer. Just you put your effort, sweat, and faith into developing the fastest bombers and the most powerful missiles on Earth. They'll provide a lot more security for our young and for the rest of the world's young than all your debating societies, forums, treaties, pacts, and other forms of surrender and handout. Excuse me.
That's quite an answer, Uncle Dan, for today. But what about tomorrow? Of course, you'll grant all other nations an equal right to put their faith and sweat and effort in trying to make their bombs faster and more powerful than ours.
Just let them try it.
Each behind its own fence. Each capable eventually of destroying everything and everybody else. And each uninvolved with the other.
Uninvolved with us. I'll settle for that. Just let them know we have the biggest and the fastest. Just let them know we're not too chicken to use them.
Peace on earth, goodwill to men. To all men, by the way.
Marley? Marley?
Don't sit under the apple tree with anyone else but me. Anyone else but me. Anyone else but me. No, no, no. Don't sit under the apple tree with anyone else but me. Till I come marching home. Don't go on down the
Did you hear anything?
with anyone else but me.
I asked you, did you hear anything?
Like what?
You all right?
Just got word from a girl who heard from the girl next door to me. Oh, she meant just about to and fit you to a T. So don't
do you say, Chief? You're Grudge, huh? Daniel Grudge, right?
Where, what is this, some kind of, troop transport?
Yeah, you might call it that. On its way.
From France?
One of our stops.
Or where else?
You name it. Meet the troops.
They're dead.
Killed in action. Chateau Thierry, Belleau Wood, Le Mans. How are you gonna keep them down on the farm after they've seen Paris? They saw Paris. Very briefly. Lafayette, they were there.
Now, you talk like the AEF. What's your name?
I'm all the AEFs. Also BEFs, the Poilus, the Huns, the Ruskies, etc. Gallipoli, the Crimea, even Waterloo, if you care to go back that far. You get the picture, Chief? I'm all of them. I'm the one who rallied around the flag. Any flag. All flags. See what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, no names and all names, huh? You know, I haven't heard that one since the radio programs in the 30s. Your name is Joe, Tony, Izzy, Pat, all one and the same. America the melting pot, right?
Wrong. I'm not getting across to you, I can see that. Who said only America, sport? I'm the dead, all the dead. We're quite a stew, you'll have to admit. Still, nameless as I am, I've got a terrific title. The Ghost of Christmas Past. Does that hit you?
It doesn't.
Well, I don't look like a ghost, huh?
You want to make your point? It's damp out here and I'm uncomfortable.
Uncomfortable? You, Chief? Well, I've been given to understand you were an old salt.
That was 20 years ago when I was in the Navy.
I'm afraid you still don't comprendez-vous. Not 20 years ago. 20 years from now. This is 1918, capiche?
Mr. Scrooge was not at all happy to see Marley's ghost, and he certainly didn't want to see any more spirits. He was already regretting allowing Bob Cratchit to leave early that Christmas Eve, so Mr. Scrooge decided to take his mind off unpleasant things by doing the one and only thing that made him smile, counting his money.
Merry Christmas, Mr. Scrooge! Who are you? Who am I? Well, you can just call me the Ghost of Christmas Past.
Are you the first one?
Yes. Well, unless you count Marley, so there were really 4 spirits, but she told you there would be 3, so she meant 3 after Marley. So, yeah, I'm the first of the 3 Marley told you about. Anyhow, you know, we're at this point in our little adventure tonight. I want to tell you about Christmas, specifically Christmas in 1964. 1964, Rod Serling, the creator of The Twilight Zone, Night Gallery, yes, that Rod Serling, this prolific television writer, so well respected, he came up with his own version of A Christmas Carol, to be directed by Joseph L. Mankiewicz as a special produced by Xerox for the United Nations. This was the first of several such specials. Yes, believe it or not. This was actually a TV movie, but it ran without commercials. Hey, we don't run commercials here either, but we do have to, break the movie into several segments to
Who are you talking to?
do things like that. Oh, you're being watched. You're being watched, not just by me. Millions and millions of viewers.
Yeah, more ghosts.
Oh, the ghosts are coming. The ghosts are watching, but there's a lot of regular and not so regular people watching too. Anyhow, in 1964, Rod Serling came up with his own version of Charles Dickens' A Christmas Carol, and he called it Carol for Another Christmas.
Carol for Another Christmas.
Mm-hmm.
Twilight Zone.
Yeah, the creator of The Twilight Zone. This wasn't actually an episode of The Twilight Zone, but it could have been one of the extended ones. Every show gets around a Christmas Carol sooner or later. But they had quite a cast put together for this. Oh my goodness. Why don't we just start with, Scrooge, or Grudge as he's known in this movie, was played by Sterling Holloway. Sterling Hayden, actually.
I know him.
Sterling Holloway was the voice of Winnie the Pooh. I just kind of made a mistake there.
I've
Sterling
done
Hayden.
business with Sterling Holloway.
Yeah, Sterling Hayden from Dr. Strangelove. You know, he's the Scrooge character in this one. And Ben Gazzara, yeah, he played Al Capone and things like that. Ben Gazzara's playing his nephew. Yeah, very young Ben Gazzara. And then we get the ghosts. The Ghost of Christmas Past. You know, my part in this, get Steve Lawrence. Remember Steve and Edie? Steve Lawrence and Edie Gourmet? Yeah, Steve Lawrence was also an actor.
They sing.
Yeah, they sing. He doesn't sing in this. He just kind of does the Christmas Past thing on the ship. I think we've already hit that part, actually. And then the Ghost of Christmas Present. Now, this is pretty interesting. Pat Hingle.
Really?
Yeah, Pat Hingle, character actor. You've seen in all sorts of things. But in the 80s, he got a whole new audience. He was in Stephen King's Maximum Overdrive as the Scrooge-like business owner of the diner.
Wow.
But he was also Commissioner Gordon in Tim Burton's Batman. So, you know, there's good Pat Hingle and bad Pat Hingle, you know.
Wow.
But guess who's going to play the Ghost of Christmas Future?
Who?
Robert Shaw.
Robert Shaw?
The Robert Shaw. Jaws, The Deep, Man for All Seasons. Oh, From Russia with Love. Gave James Bond his best fight ever on that train. Oh, yeah, I'll tell you.
And From Russia for Love? That was his, first?
That was the second James Bond movie, but it was the,
That was one of the big ones.
One of the big ones, definitely. Yeah, that Robert Shaw. But, you know, best known as Quentin, Jaws, but, you know, all sorts of other things. Oh, Black Sunday. And, you know, well, that takes care of past, present, and future, but there's one more incredibly noteworthy name in this. When we get to Christmas Future in this movie, oh, my goodness. Peter Sellers. Peter Sellers is going to be in this as the individual me, the great me. Not me, but the great individual me.
Oh, the other me.
Right. Don't look for Inspector Clouseau in this. No. But that's Peter Sellers, all right. You know, Peter Sellers worked with Joseph Mankiewicz in that, rather, speaking of James Bond, that totally whacked out 60s production of Casino Royale, not the Daniel Craig one, but the one with David Niven and Peter Sellers and Orson Welles and Woody Allen and on and on and on. Mankiewicz was one of the people involved in that. He was also the guy who produced Cleopatra, the Richard Burton, Elizabeth Taylor. Oh, yeah, I think we had a little run-in with them a while back. Anyhow, I think I got to get going. The thing is, Carol for Another Christmas, it ran in 1964, but was never televised again. Well, not for decades anyway. But this being a Xerox production, there were copies. Enjoy your Christmas.
Yeah, but where did he go? That was number one.
It was a long war for some of these boys. And short for some.
And a short life for ours.
Which ones were yours? Can you pick them out?
Yeah, we didn't belong in that one either. Made the world safer democracy, did they?
That's what they were told. They sure as hell gave it a try.
Look, they change the hats. They update the slogans, but it's the same old shell game. Like clockwork. Every 20 years, somebody rings a fire bell 10,000 miles away. And out comes Uncle Sam's Expeditionary Sucker Brigade.
Is that what they are? Suckers? Is that what your son's gonna be?
My son? My son will be a victim just as these men are victims of somebody else's war.
You kill me, Chief, you really do. If it isn't Valley Forge or the Boston Tea Party, you leave it strictly alone. Your big gripe is what? Because every 20 years, American boys got to climb on troop ships and head off to someplace else? It rubs you raw. So what else is new? 60,000 limeys die in Flanders. 100,000 frogs catch it at Verdun. The Germans march through Belgium. And Austria declares war on Japan. But who cares? It's a nice summer. Yeah, Boston's going to win the World Series. So we'll rock on the front porch and swat flies. Do I translate you right, Chief?
Better than American blood. Infinitely better than American blood.
Amen, I grant you. If it were possible. But it ain't possible. War is also a contagious disease, Mr. G. And until we can stamp it out...
Nobody ever found a way to do that.
Right. But is that any reason to stop trying? The one thing we do know. The only chance to keep this particular disease from spreading is to keep talking. So long as you talk, you don't fight. Simple. Look, I bump a guy in the street. He bumps me. We stand there, we argue. He gives me lip, I give him lip. But when we stop talking, we start swinging. And then we bleed. Then we got problems. Like winding up dead.
I recognize the commercial, but it's no sale.
I'm not selling you, pal. I'm donating to you, free of charge. Remember the, excuse the expression, League of Nations sport? That was going to be the point there, remember?
I would have been opposed to the League of Nations.
Of course you would. And you were. So you blew it. Bunch of fancy characters with top hats and monocles. We're not buying any of that, right, Mr. G? No sale. We've had it with foreigners. We've had it with making the world safe for democracy and the rest of the slogans. So we tell them to drift. We're sitting this one out. That's how you keep wars from happening, right, Grudge? Don't get involved. Right? Well, is it? Tell them. They'd like to know. Wasn't that how you kept the world from the Second World War? Uninvolvement? Stay isolated? Wasn't that how? Well, tell them.
Well, obviously, if we hadn't become involved, why, they wouldn't be here.
No, they wouldn't be here. They'd be back in their hometowns. What was left of them. Buried right where they fell.
Another ship?
Also on her way.
I can just make out the deck. Those are American soldiers from my war.
Nicely put, Chief. They're the sons. These are the fathers. Yeah, after 1918, we got sick of war. Fed up. All those American kids getting blown to pieces, out of sight in foreign places with strange-sounding names. So for the next 20 years, we closed our eyes and decided what we couldn't see wouldn't happen, right? Of course, we don't want to take all the credit, do we? I mean, we weren't the only ones playing shut-eye. When old Adolf walked into the Rhineland, France didn't want to get involved. Italy pulled down the window shade when Hitler took Austria. England wasn't about to involve herself when Czechoslovakia went under. And Russia kept the phone off the hook while Poland was destroyed. And before you knew it, everybody was singing, "Don't rock the boat," while it sank slowly to the bottom. So they died at other places, on other dates.
Don't you tell me you're not selling anything. Hey, listen to me. Nobody, mortal man or dressed up ghost, can convince me that every time there's a war, we have to step in and finish it. Now you listen to this. The next one, we don't bring up the bucket. We stay home. We stay on our
side of the fence. Talk about your old-time radio shows. Seems to me I heard that one before, too. Hey, you want to know something, pal? That ocean you call a fence keeps nothing out anymore. Except fish. It's a lousy stream of water now. It's about as wide as a ditch. Well, a couple of supersonic bombers can spit over it. An ICBM will leave it behind. You don't want to get involved. Sport, you got a job ahead of you. You really got a job. You got to disinvent the airplane, and the missile, and the submarine, and a little old thing called the bomb. See what I mean? You don't want to get involved, you got to give back the 20th century, if you can find a chump to take it. But isolation? I got news. I went out with gaslight and 50-cent steaks. It's for the dinosaurs, isolation. And closing your eyes, that's for sleeping. Also, at certain times, it leads to dying. Convoy.
Hundreds of ships. Thousands of ships.
Loaded with boxes, Chief. China, Ethiopia, Spain, Latvia, Hungary. Undeclared wars, police actions, some minor league insurrections. All the way back, Chief. All the way back as far as anyone can remember. And still farther. But it all boils down to somebody stopped talking. So they fought. So they bled. So they died. Hey, wouldn't you think, Sport, with all the brains we got on this earth, the way we build things, and cure things, and invent stuff on Tuesday that wasn't possible on Monday, wouldn't you think we could come up with something that could keep a kid from getting killed at the age of 18?
Ghost?
Sir?
Where do they go? The ships, I mean.
Where do they go? Nowhere. Like I said, just on their way. Why, Mr. Grudge, you want to throw a wreath or something? We've reached your port, Mr. Grudge. This is where we get off. In here.
What's in there?
A place you should remember. A place, a foreign place you had a feeling about one time.
I doubt it.
Do you, Chief? Well, maybe you just don't remember too good. Not only where you've been, even what you say. Like, let them know we're not too chicken to use that bomb. They already know that, Mr. Grudge. Do you remember any better, Grudge? Hiroshima, right?
Hiroshima. I was here in September 1945. I was off my ship. I came here.
Of course, this is only your memory of it. Wasn't quite as clean as you remember. Oh, they did quite a job. They cleared away all the dead real quick. They only left the silence. You recognize the officer, Chief?
Why, it's me. It's me 20 years ago. It's me when I came here that afternoon.
The daffy tricks memory plays. Some things we think we forgot, we only misplace.
Would you like to get out here, sir?
Good morning. Do you speak English?
Yes, Commander, I do.
Grudge is my name. My cruiser's in Yokohama. This is Lieutenant Gibson. She's attached to our headquarters there.
Tell me, Doctor, who has that lovely voice?
That is Sachiko. It means child of happiness.
Sachiko. Doctor, was she...
She was one of the group of schoolgirls. They were clearing away file lanes when the bomb fell. Would you care to meet them? They're very lonely here. They enjoy company.
Thank you.
I must tell you that when the plane flew overhead, these children looked up at the sky. Their faces were upturned to the blast. They suffered what we call flash burns. It is a term we use to describe instantaneous thermal radiation.
How badly were they burned?
They have no more faces, Commander. Told the young ladies that you're American naval officers and you've come to wish them well.
Doctor, I know it's not much consolation, but at least we can hope that they're children.
Children, Commander? These girls?
Excuse me. Lieutenant?
Sir.
Never seen a burn case before?
Several times, sir. I was at the Bethesda Naval Hospital. I was there after Coral Sea, after Midway, after Samar. I saw a lot of burn cases.
And when you saw them, did you run?
The burn cases I saw were American sailors, Commander. They had been fighting an enemy. They weren't school children. The distinction is most subtle, sir, I'll give you that. But by God, there is a difference.
What about the kids at Pearl Harbor who looked up toward the sky? Or Malayan kids? Or Chinese kids? Sympathize all you want, Lieutenant, but keep your perspective. The President of the United States found it necessary to drop that bomb because there would have been 500,000 American casualties and a couple of million Japanese dead had he not dropped it. Harsh as it may sound, in my book, that makes simple arithmetic.
Commander, I wouldn't debate military planning with you. I'm just suggesting that we are standing in the middle of what was once a city. Where on one given morning, 100,000 people were killed. People, Commander. That's almost as many deaths as the Confederates had in 4 years of Civil War. Quite apart from anything else, sir. Doesn't that suggest to you that from this second on, if the world ever decided to go to war again, it could kill itself off in a couple of afternoons? Doesn't it suggest, sir, that maybe war is obsolete now? Just do me one favor, would you please, Commander? Don't call it arithmetic anymore. Toshiko! Toshiko!
At school. Toshiko and Fujiko were his sisters. That's where they were that morning. Whenever there's thunder now, you always remember.
Dear God.
Look, son, you take it easy, huh? Everything's gonna be all right. You understand me? Huh? It's just a little thunder. Come on, give me a smile. Come on, a little more. Yeah, boy. Thank you.
If thine enemy be hungry, give him bread to eat. If he be thirsty, give him water to drink. Your enemy thanks you, Commander.
Starting to rain, Mr. Grudge.
I remember the rain.
A yellow child is a black child, is a white child, is a child. Can we agree to that much?
Where to now?
Through there, Mr. Grudge.
Oh, I've been there.
This time it's another place. Like every place is another place.
Are you coming with me?
No, sir. I'm then. In there is now.
Going to share movie trivia with me. How bad can the next two ghosts be? Thought Scrooge. But his next thought was that he really didn't want to find out. So he tried to leave the store, but the ghost of Christmas present had other ideas. It was time for Scrooge to look in on his humble clerk, Bob Cratchit, his wife, Mrs. Cratchit, and their adorable son, Tiny Tim.
Okay, I gotta get out of here. There's too much nonsense. I gotta get
Just where do you think you're going?
Do you hear something?
Hello, I am the ghost of Christmas present.
Are you number 2?
I am number 2. I am here to represent all Christmas
good, bad, happy, sad, tragic.
What am I going to see?
I am going to show you just how your employees are spending their holiday cheer because of your miserly ways.
Oh, they're having
this
fun.
way. We
They
shall
can't
see.
have me having fun. I don't pay them anything.
Oh, but right behind this door.
Oh, look. I recognize them. There's the mayor of the town.
Oh, yes, but remember, you cannot interact with them. You can only watch. You cannot say anything.
But I want to have fun. I want to be there. I want to.
Where is my pizza?
Oh,
you promised pizza.
No, you control
You said that I could
yourself.
get pizza.
What a brat!
Oh my God! You said we would. You said.
I said you said what?
You said we would have
said
pizza.
Pizza?
I want pizza. We're supposed to have pizza. You promised.
You know, I didn't even. Well, I did get a bonus from Mr. Scrooge, and this is it.
Oh,
That doesn't even. You know, that's not even a slice of pizza.
but
You're a grateful little brat.
Well,
you
maybe
should
you
be
should
happy.
have worked harder.
Work harder. I work my ass off. I've got no ass.
hush!
What?
Bob! Tim! Melanie! Hey!
Oh, what?
Signor Paolo Umberto, we're here to sing Christmas Carol for you!
I'm in
All right,
no
let's get in the
Christmas mood. I'm
We
in
all
no
know.
mood.
Okay, now here's one we all
Let's
know.
go, pizza.
1, 2, 3. What's the matter, you? Got no respect.
Pizza.
What do you think
Ay,
you do?
ay, ay.
Why you look so sad?
Yeah.
It's not so bad.
It is bad.
It's a nicer place. Ah, shut up in your face.
Oh, yeah.
Merry Christmas,
Yeah.
you're making it fun. I try.
Yeah.
Umberto try. Everybody try. Fully.
Thank you.
Oh,
Thank you.
this Christmas sucks,
Oh,
man.
come on, family.
Scrooge.
please.
Screw Scrooge.
Perhaps you should
Screw
go
no
visit
pizza.
Grandmama for an indefinite period
Grudge, isn't it? Daniel Grudge. Join me in a snack, won't you? Potluck, I'm afraid.
This table, my chandelier.
You have an eye for possessions. Glad to see it. Little turkey, Mr. Grudge? Drumstick? Wing? Baked ham, perhaps? Candied yams? Suckling pig? I find myself overeating at Christmas. Thanksgiving, too, a tradition of overeating, as it were.
You don't make sense to me.
My apologies, Mr. Grudge. I thought you knew. I'm the ghost of Christmas present.
Representing what? Gluttony?
If you like. No, I represent the human race, Mr. Grudge. So, to a certain extent, does gluttony. Also starvation. I represent that, too. You might say that I'm as close to being a walking, eating image of the human race as it's possible for a man or phantom to be. Part of me feels a gnawing hunger. Part of me is satiated. I'm warm, contented, healthy. But much of me shivers in the cold.
Now I understand. This is where I get my lecture about the haves and the have-nots.
Mankind includes extremes, Mr. Grudge. Extremes. It's some people living alone in a 24-room house and 24 others living in one room. Some eating high off the hog and some simply not eating at all.
Not at all.
Displaced persons. Today, more than 20 years after...
Quite a few of them. Still around. The barbed wire set.
How can you eat like this when you know that they're right there staring at you?
Why not?
Oh, it takes a special breed to stuff himself in front of
You
starting.
hit the point there, old boy. You really did. Well, it takes a special breed indeed. But you see, I don't happen to be a breed, Mr. Grudge. I'm a ghost. I don't have a heart, I don't have a soul, no nerve endings, no brain center. I'm just a reflection. But then I've already told you that. Shall I now tell you how many times you've stuffed yourself while 2/3 of the world starved in a cage? Yeah. Throw him a bone.
Don't you talk to me like that. I have feelings. Nothing on this earth can force me to eat while starving people watch me.
Watching makes all the difference, what? You never saw them while tearing into your mashed potatoes. They weren't actually there when you buttered your bread. There. Better, Mr. Grudge? Appetite back? Do. Sit down. You're gonna have to explain the logic of man to me, Mr. Grudge. For example, tell me how you come about your selective morality. This ease with which you strip off your conscience like an overcoat and let your satisfied belch drown out the hunger cries that fill the air around you. How do you create this exact science whereby you disinvolve yourself from all the anguish of the world that doesn't happen to be in your direct line of vision? Why, it doesn't take a special breed of man at all, Mr. Grudge. That is man in his normal condition.
No, man isn't cruel. I don't think I'm cruel. But we can't, at least I can't, spend my time grieving because part of the world is rich and part of it is poor. Because part of it has and part of it has not. But we actually see human beings in want. We react. We respond.
Is that a fact, Mr. Grudge?
Do you insist upon making it a better world? Won't you die happy until you do? You insist upon helping the needy and oppressed? Then tell them to help themselves. Let them know the cash drawer is closed and make them believe it. You'll be surprised how much less needy and oppressed the needy and oppressed turn out to be.
I could need another bite. They make the portions much too big these days. Obsolete materials. Vitamins, calories, small fragments of nutrition. That's not what they want. You tell them, Mr. Grudge. You tell them what it is. It's bombers and missiles, isn't it? Tell them that's their diet for survival.
No, that was in a different context. I was talking politics at the time.
Politics? Mr. Grudge, politics? Now grasp this, if you can. Humanity is no longer a political thesis. It is not a subject for debate. There are no pros and cons, no arguments and rebuttals. We are talking about human want and human need, and this is a fact of life. And as to your involvement, Mr. Grudge, you are involved, sir, as of the date of your birth. You are all mankind, because you are a part of mankind, a willy-nilly, as it were.
Castores veni, castores piedad, adoro al niño, que ha nacido ya.
Mankind, Mr. Grudge. In there, the hungry part of mankind, the anguished part, the dispossessed. If you shared a loaf of bread with them, how would you be relinquishing your freedom? Or if you joined other nations to administer vaccinations to their children, how would you have desecrated your flag? Or if you had offered them solace and hope and comfort, how would you have made yourself susceptible to tyranny?
What are they singing?
Foreign words, but not necessarily conspiracies to destroy you, Mr. Grudge. Just Christmas songs, and of those who do not celebrate Christmas, songs of hope. They sang them in their languages before you did in yours. Your Christmases have just been a lot merrier, that's all. And your hope more of a reality.
Are there many like this?
Many? Mr. Grudge, many? You'd like it statistically? Would you appreciate that? The clean, calculated order of mathematics? Like how many million tons of wheat are surplus? How many tons of butter rot in warehouses? Well, here it is, Mr. Grudge, arithmetic. The mathematics of now, right now, this Christmas. But don't take your eyes off these faces. Keep relating. On this earth, Mr. Grudge, there are 10 million displaced persons. They are without homes, without property. They own nothing. They are stripped of rights, stripped of nationality, barbed wire nomads whose crime was that they lived in a world that went to war. But don't take your eyes off of them. Keep relating, Mr. Grudge. On this earth, 13 million human beings have tuberculosis. There are 10 million blind. There are 130 million cases of malaria. Today, the present, now on the clock, and now on the calendar. 2/3 of the world, Mr. Grudge, go to bed hungry. 1/2 of the Earth's population, that's 3 billion people, actually suffer from hunger, from lack of food. Of these, Mr. Grudge, there are 100 million children.
No more now.
No more now. No more this moment. When, Mr. Grudge? Tomorrow. Thursday. A week from today, will you think about them? A month from today, will you involve yourself?
I don't want to see them. I don't want to look at them.
Do, Mr. Grudge, look at them now. Because tomorrow, a week from now, a lot of them won't be around.
No more now. I want to get out. I want to go back where I belong. Do you understand? I just want to leave here. Please leave me alone.
So there you are, Grudge. I was expecting you. I thought you'd be here a bit sooner.
This is the meeting hall in our town. That's what it is. This is our town hall. Why is it this way?
You're in the future, Mr. Grudge.
The future?
The world's future. You've gone on a bit, so to speak. What do you think of the old neighborhood?
Our town hall. But what could have done this? What happened here?
Time. Time happened here, Mr. Grudge. Attrition, neglect, misuse, a few passing catastrophes. Time. Of little consequence, really. There grew to be less and less need for a meeting place, for a platform for debate. The American town hall, you will remember, Mr. Grudge, was a microcosm of all the meeting halls of the world. Places where men could talk it over. It seems we reached a moment in time when talk became superfluous. So now your town hall is past tense. But then again, if you step outside, you will note that most of what you see is past tense, or rather, most of what you don't see.
How far in the future am I?
It is a Christmas Eve, a night of December the 24th. The year is not important. Calendars are past tense now also.
The clock is stopped.
Indeed, the clock is stopped. So has electricity. The fact is, there are so few people around, the loss is hardly noticed.
Why?
Comprehending, are you, Mr. Grudge?
There was a war.
At Dandy.
When?
When? On Doomsday. We don't have dates now, but that's how it's remembered. The exact hour hardly matters, does it? It seems, at a given moment, we thought that they'd drop some bombs, or they thought we'd drop some bombs. Anyway, somebody thought somebody had dropped some bombs. By then, of course, everybody had the bomb. They'd all been wanting it, you remember? It got so with no controls that nobody was really anybody if they didn't have the bomb. What you see before you, Mr. Grudge, is a tiny part of a big, round, radioactive mud burying ground.
Is it all like this? Is the whole world a burying ground?
All of it. All of the towns and all of the meeting places and all of the countries of the world. Just like this.
Did no one speak out? Was there no single voice of reason? But what about the United Nations? It was supposed to keep the peace.
The United? Oh, that town meeting hall. Oh, yes, well, that went some time back, I'm afraid. You see, they dropped out. Or maybe we dropped out. Anyway, somebody dropped out, and pretty soon everybody was dropping or had dropped out. And before anybody knew it, the talking had stopped. But there were voices, Mr. Grudge. The world didn't lack for sound. Behind each separate fence, each separate wall, came screams of anger, suspicion, and prejudice. And they grew, and they grew. But there were no answers, remember. No discussion. No place for it. And so in the end, the world was filled with the noise of hate. And inevitably... Ah... The inheriting strong of the earth, the fittest who happen to survive, the leftovers of the crap game after they rolled the H-bomb and nobody made their point.
Well, it certainly isn't my fault that Tiny Tim is such a brat, reasoned Scrooge. What does any of this have to do with me? When do I get what's coming to me? Funny he should ask.
Oh, I've had enough. I gotta go. Are you the ghost of Christmas future? Can you tell of the things that will be? Oh no.
Well, I'm sorry that your pool water stinks. You know, I can't help that. You know what's up with your pool, man? I mean,
Can
you know,
I get some service here?
You know, can I? Wait, can you? I'm busy on the phone, man.
Can I get some service here? Hey, I need some stovepipe.
Oh, go fart somewhere, man. I mean,
excuse me?
Yeah, go over there and fart, man. Gee, I'm busy here. I'm sorry. You know, I can't. Of all the people,
Let me talk to the
win,
manager.
He's not here. He won the lottery. Of all the people, he wins the lottery. Yeah. You know.
I win the lottery?
What? Oh, screw you! Merry Christmas to you, loser. Oh my God! What's that smell?
The Imperial Me. The Imperial Me. And this is the non-government of the Me people. Now, why don't we just relax and get nice and cozy? Now, folks, the first item on today's agenda is this business. If the people from down yonder and the people from across the river wanted to come in here and talk about what they call our mutual problems, our common differences. Now, they want to talk about our problems. They want to debate about solutions until somehow they get their problems solved. They want to waste our time. They want us to commit ourselves to that kind of surrender.
They're insane.
Now then, they don't come out in so many words and say that they want to take us over. They're too clever for that. But that's what they want. They want to take over us, individual me. And if we let them seep in here from down yonder and cross river, if we let these do-gooders, these bleeding hearts, propagate their insidious doctrine of involvement among us, then, my dear friends, my beloved me, we's in trouble. Deep, deep trouble. Because we have now reached a pure state of civilization. The world of the ultimate me is finally within our grasp. It's a world where only the strong will exist, where only the powerful will love, where finally the word we will be stamped out and will become I forever. Because we are each the wise. We are each the strong. And we are each the individual me's.
Charles. Hey, Charles, over here, it's Mr. Grudge.
He doesn't hear you, he doesn't see you. You're as much a phantom as I am.
Let him speak.
To the best of our knowledge, we are all of humanity who remain alive. All that's left. And we have survived the Holocaust. And if we are to go on surviving, we must work together now. We must talk together. And if other people want to join us, if they want to talk with us, we must listen to them. And we must respond to them. We must begin again. We must have law again, and ethics, and honor, and decency. Guarantee our survival. The potential goodness of men. The potential morality of men. The capability. That's it. The capability of human beings to achieve dignity and decency. Together, not I or they, but we. Don't you understand? The only alternative to that is nothing. Don't you see that, people? Don't you see?
Enough. Bring him over here. Come. Bring him over here. You are charged with the treason of involvement. You are charged with the subversion of the individual me. How do you plead? anything to say. It's your right as an individual me, you know. Just say anything comes in your head. You don't have to think about it. Just say it. Go ahead. Oh, you want to use the microphone?
I may be all the sanity that is left. I may be all the conscience that remains on earth. I can't let you kill me!
Jump!
Animals, miserable, rotten animals.
Revelation, Mr. Grudge. Brand new experience for you, is it? Don't you remember people shouting, jump, jump, jump in your day, closing their windows to screams in the street, hiding behind their newspapers in the subways while their fellow men were being assaulted? And later, while civilization was being raped? Take a good look, Mr. Grudge.
My friends, next on the agenda, we must go out and dispose of those people from down yonder and Cross River who want to come in here and talk. We must dispose of them, you understand? Because we are the individual me's, and we must carry our glorious philosophy through to its glorious culmination, so that the end, with enterprise and determination, the world and everything in it will belong to one individual me, and that'll be the ultimate, the absolute ultimate. So, me's, after we kill the interlopers, the talkers, the involvers, who are on their way here now, we shall then be free to proceed with the most important business of all, which is the killing of each other, until there remains only the one individual me. Right? Right! One? get at it. Each behind his own fence, each behind his own barricade. Follow me, my friends, my loved ones, to the perfect society. The civilization of I!
Pictorial enough for you, is it, Mr. Grudge?
Rubble and madness.
Rubble and madness. I can't imagine why you're surprised. When the first bomb dropped on Hiroshima, the fate of man could have been predicted by a cut-rate gypsy. The ultimate Garden of Eden. Planted by man, cultivated by his weapons, and irrigated by his blood, and brought to fruition by his prejudices and his hate.
Ghost, tell me something. Did I die before all this? Tell me what happened to me. What happened to me? Just answer me one thing. One thing. Is the world that you show me tonight the world as it must be, or as it might be? Tell me. I want to know. Tell me. Tell me. Must it be like this? Must it be like this? Tell me. Tell me. Tell me. Are you all right, sir?
I just went up to call you. Your bed hadn't been slept in.
Oh, I must have dozed off by the fire in the study. I spent the night down here, Charles.
Well, I'll see about your breakfast, sir.
Uncle Dan, good morning. Are you all right?
Well, yes, of course I am. Why shouldn't I be?
You didn't seem too good at 3 o'clock this morning.
I what?
When you phoned me.
When I phoned you? Oh, yes, I may well have done that. Come in.
Please.
You said on the phone that you wanted me to drop by on my way to church, that you had something to say to me.
I just wanted to apologize to you, Fred, for last night.
Thank you, Uncle Dan. That's from New York, United Nations. Children of the delegates singing Christmas carols in their native languages. Of course, that won't stop their fathers from beating each other's brains out tomorrow with words.
I've heard those songs. Not here, somewhere else. Recently, too.
I'll have Charles turn it off.
No. It's a good sound. Kids' voices. You know, Fred, about this family of nations, I'm not at all sure that it's the final answer.
Perhaps it's not the final one. So far, it's the only possible one.
Possibility, perhaps. So long as there are children, I suppose there are possibilities.
So long as there are children, there have to be possibilities.
I've been giving things some thought. Some second thoughts.
Oh? Any conclusions?
No, maybe an observation or two.
For instance?
For instance, the old one, banal by now. That no man, as the poet says, is an island. Seems the conclusion is inevitable. There must be involvement. Every man's death does diminish me. It appears we've run out of the luxury of alternatives, Fred. We find ourselves living in a world in which we either greet the morning or accept the night. So I wish you a Merry Christmas, Fred. And a good morning.
Merry Christmas, Uncle.
Good morning, Ruby.
Good morning, Mr. Grudge.
I thought I'd have my coffee in here this morning.
Oh
wanted pizza, then pizza he would have. So, Kitty and Candy put on their best hot and saucy outfits and prepared to serve up an extra special... Sorry about that.
We're almost done. Let's finish our real story.
Whatever you say, darling. Mr. Scrooge decided that before he said goodbye forever, he himself would deliver the coveted pizza to Bob Cratchit and his family.
Merry frickin' Christmas. No Christmas.
Ha ha ha! Oh!
Oh, whoa!
Merry Christmas!
Oh, Mr. Scrooge!
Oh, look! A pizza from your
Son,
Uncle
it's your
Scrooge.
pizza!
Hey, Tim,
It's
get
your
the first
Christmas
piece.
wish come true, buddy! Enjoy!
Enjoy your Christmas.
Thanks, Mr. Scrooge!
I have to go.
You have to go? Join us!
I have to leave.
Why?
Enjoy your Christmas.
Why?
I wish you all a happy night.
Oh, thank
And
you.
Merry Christmas to all.
Merry Christmas to you, Mr. Scrooge!
Thank you.
You enjoy.
He is. He's very happy.
You win the lottery or something? Wow. How's the pizza, buddy?
Is it good?
Good. Enjoy, man. Enjoy it, buddy. Son?
What's wrong?
Buddy?
What's going? Oh, look.
Buddy? Are you...
Oh, maybe the clothes are too tight. What is going on?
Hey, bud.
Oh, I think he's choking.
You think he's choking?
I do. Do you know Heimlich?
No, I don't.
I don't. I never met
Let's
him.
go to the library and find out
Let's
how
go.
to do that. Let's
What's
go.
the pizza? Grab a
See you
piece
later,
for
son.
us. Okay.
Well, we'll come back for the pizza.
And Scrooge lived happily ever after. Now, can we get back to our story?
Pretty soon. But first,
Wait, I'm still alive, right? I'm alive again.
alive again? Oh, sorry. You see, the Christmas episode kind of takes place outside of our regular timeline. When we get back to our regular timeline, I'm afraid you're still a smoldering pile of ashes on our floor. But we can deal with that later. And we've still got tonight, right? We want to thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for joining us for our Christmas special here at the Manor of Mayhem. Enjoy the reruns, enjoy the guest shows, and we'll be back with an all-new Season 20 before you know it. And yes, we're going to try to bring Firewater back to life for it. Why not? For now, as always, now that you have entered, fate shall follow through. Even should you ne'er return, the madness stays with you. Merry Christmas! Okay, now.
Tape recorder. You don't suppose it was Inspector Blackie, do you?
Inspector Blackie? Nah, it couldn't be. Could it?
When the day has just begun and you're looking for some fun, call up your local sister girl. If you're hungry for a treat, but you don't know what to eat, send for your friendly sister girl. I've been searching all around the world just to find my pizza girl. If you'd like to have a slice of ideal paradise, phone up and order pizza girl. Pizza girls, they aim to please, and delivery is free. They satisfy those pizza girls. I've been searching all around the world justify my pizza girl. Pizza girls know how to cook, and she's listed in the book. So look under people's pizza girl. She can whip you up a pie.